Hello everybody, welcome to this week's Day in the Life vlog. I feel like I should say Day in the Life of a Cheapskate because that's what my account is meant to be about, but I don't think that these videos are really showcasing my cheapskate life, if that's the right word for it. I think instead these videos show a kind of regular, contented, family style life. Most of our days are no spend days or low spend days. Today was a no spend day, even though I did go to the shop, but I'll explain a little bit more about that when I get to that point in the video. We've not done a family walk yet today. We normally do one of those on a Sunday, but it's been very hot here. We're doing our family walk later in the evening when it started to cool down a bit. I haven't really done anything in the last week that's exciting enough to talk about. It's been a nice week, a hot week. The temperatures have been in the high 20s, low 30s, which is too hot for me when I'm in England. Like when I've got normal life to do, like school runs and work. It's different when you're on holiday and it's those kind of heats. Speaking of which, we haven't booked an abroad holiday yet this year, which isn't unusual for us. We usually do last minute holidays, as in we normally book a couple of weeks before we actually go. I think the year before last we only booked a week before we went. I'm really not sure where to book this time. The kids can't decide on where they would rather go. One of them wants to go on a cold weather holiday, which isn't really my idea of a holiday. When I think of a holiday, I think of a beach and a pool, which is what the other child wants. Neither of them want to go very far on a plane, so that rules out a lot of places. We all quite liked Mallorca when we went to Mallorca, so that might be an option, and then we'll just have to go to a cold place another time. I'm not against taking the kids out of school for holidays. I'm sure this is a topic that divides a lot of people. You're either on one side of the fence or the other, but I'm quite alright with them missing a couple of days here and there. I do it in a way to avoid getting fined by the school, so we never take them out for 10 sessions in a row. It's only when you do that you get fined, so we usually go for either 9 sessions or as few sessions as we can. It makes it just so much cheaper either going a couple of days before they break up from school or a couple of days into the holidays so that they miss a few days when they get back. I've got so many carrots to use up this week, so we're making some carrot cakes. I can't actually remember if the kids like these or not, so I might end up having to eat them all myself. What a shame. We're going to have a couple of meals this week where we have carrots alongside them or mixed in with whatever we're cooking. What good eyesight we're all going to have by the end of the week. Carrots and broccoli and peas are the one veg that I know both of the kids will definitely eat, so if I ever see them on Olio, I always get them because I know they'll always get eaten. I've seen someone on, I think it was Instagram, do a courgette cake. I think it might have been Louise's Kitchen Garden, possibly. I'm going to have to go back and have a look because I want to write the recipe down. It does look really good when she's made it, and it's a sneaky way of getting vegetables into cake. I've seen a beetroot one too. I think it was beetroot brownies. I don't know how I feel about those because I don't really like the taste of beetroot. It brings back childhood memories of when my mum and dad used to grow it in their garden, and they used to put it in a pressure cooker in the kitchen to cook it, and the smell of it just used to spread around the house, and I absolutely hated it. I don't know that I've tried beetroot as a grown-up. Maybe I might like it now. If you've made beetroot brownies before, can you taste the beetroot in there? I don't use specific spices when I do my carrot cakes. I just do 3 teaspoons of any sort of random bunch of them. I think this time I did ginger, nutmeg and cinnamon, but mixed spice works just as well. Stopped recording the voiceover just then because I remembered I hadn't looked on RightMove today. I am obsessed with looking at RightMove. I must look at it at least once a day. I don't know why, because we have no immediate plans of moving anywhere. I like looking at houses in this area, in the area we used to live in, even in different countries. I like looking at ones in Canada and up in the Shetland Islands too, and I get unreasonably disappointed when a house that I like sells, even when I have no money to buy it and no plans to buy it. When I see them come up as sold subject to contract, I'm still like, oh, what a disappointment. There's a house I like on there at the moment and I keep looking at it, and it's £75,000 more than what our current house would be worth, and I wouldn't want to get a mortgage, so obviously it's off the table, but I keep going back on and looking at it. As well as being too much money, it's not really in the right location for us either. If we did move, I'd want to be further away from people. I'd like to not have any immediate neighbours, although there's nothing wrong with the neighbours that I have now. It would still be nice to be further away from people. We've never let our chinchilla loose in the living room before because there's a lot more areas she can get into compared to her running loose in the playroom or in my daughter's bedroom. But she was begging for us to let her do it for ages, so we've blocked up all the little nooks and crannies she might be able to get stuck in. She can't get behind the TV and she can't get behind the settee or in the coal bucket because can you imagine what a mess that would make? She was let loose while we had our dinner because after dinner we're going to have a bit of a movie afternoon. Like I said before, it's too hot to be out in the sunshine all the time, so from 12ish till 3ish I like to make sure we have indoor activities to do. I'm doing my nails first and then I'm going to have a little tootle to the shop to get some snacks for our movie afternoon. They've requested either Pipers or Pringles, and Pipers were £1.75 whereas the Pringles were £1.85, so I went with the Pipers. I had enough dividend points on my co-op card to buy them, so it didn't cost me any money. what snacks are better than free snacks? We've got plenty of DVDs. Most of them are like kids Disney DVDs. I'm going to pick out a couple of options and see what everyone wants to watch. I like the idea of having lots of DVDs and not relying on streaming services, but it annoys me how much space they take up. I wouldn't want bookshelves stacked with DVDs. That would just annoy me too much. And I don't like the idea of taking them out of the cases and getting rid of the cases, just having the discs. So we have a go through them maybe once every year and get rid of ones that none of us want to watch anymore, and buy a couple of more to replace them if we see them in charity shops or at boot sales. I feel the same way about books as well. I really love books and I love people's home libraries when I see them. You know, the sort where they've got big floor-to-ceiling bookshelves and they're just stacked with books. It looks so dreamy, but I could never have that in my house. I feel like I'd just find it too cluttered. Once I finish a book, I have to get rid of it. Annoyingly, the DVD wouldn't play on the PlayStation, so we had to get one of the older PlayStations out of the loft to play it on that. It's packed away with some of our old consoles and our old games. These are a proper blast from the past from childhood. I bet if we played these games on the telly now, they would look so old. The graphics must have been terrible back then. My hubby is cracking on with making tea tonight. We're having something that we've not had for absolutely ages. I think it was during lockdown, but we got onto the Pinch of Non-books. He'd been following them on Facebook for a while, the people that wrote the books, and we used to try a new recipe each week. This was one of my favourites and I'd completely forgotten about it, but we're giving it a try again tonight. We've increased the ingredients in the recipe so there's enough for us again for tea tomorrow night. It saves us money and time, I suppose, if we cook once and eat twice. I'll leave the vlog there for tonight. I'm going to get showered and go and sit outside and read my book. I will see you all next week. Thanks for watching.